Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Me First Mornings. I am your host, Patricia Ribeiro Wolfson. I am a life strategist, an energy practitioner, and a coach, an intuitive coach. Okay, sorry, brain got distracted. So I am here to help people connect with their inner power and clarity and confidence to lead their life with passion and compassion. That's like my new little thing that I'm saying. Working it out. Let me know what you think. Say hi if you're here. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching from the States, from Canada, from Portugal, from somewhere else in the world. Do I have other international followers? That would be awesome. Say hi. Okay, so what are we talking about? We are talking about Mercury retrograde. It is here tomorrow. It is not here today, but we might be in the shadow already. I don't know if you've started to feel some sort of glitches in tech or communication. I know it's super cliche, but I don't know what to tell you. It really does happen. And also, it sounds cliche and maybe sounds like a bunch of crap, but like, is it really a bunch of crap to think that the celestial bodies and planets that exist, in our universe would have some type of effect on other energetic celestial bodies, like on us, on other planets, on our actual planet? Like, of course, right? Everything is interconnected, and we do not have the type of insight and actual information about the planets and their interaction to really have a clear picture of everything that happens. Good morning, Jim. You're watching from Earth. I'm so glad glad you're here. Okay, so we talk about Mercury retrograde, and people, some people get really nuts about it and concerned about doing things. I'm not one of those people because most of the time I don't even pay attention to what's coming, energetically speaking, in terms of the planets. Although I do find that when I know or when I hear that something like happened, it's always a good explanation for what I was feeling that week, because I definitely feel the shifts and the changes. And, you know, is it Mercury retrograde, or is it, like Saturn or Jupiter? Well, maybe, maybe not. But it certainly helps me to have an idea of what might be influencing the things that are happening in my life, what might be influencing the decisions that you're making, and what you need to be careful of, because you never know, right? It's no different than getting a weather forecast, right? Where you're like, it's going to be raining, or there's going to be a thunderstorm. So make sure you take an umbrella, or make sure you're not planning an outdoor event, or have a backup plan, right? Like, we don't have to completely change our lives when we get a weather forecast, or when we get a forecast or information about some sort of planetary shift, right? But it's good to know. It's good to know that maybe Mercury being in retrograde might have some sort of effect on communication, might have some sort of effect on technology, right? And so when things start to happen, I find, for me, if I remind myself that it's Mercury retrograde, it doesn't anger me so much, right? And that's really the point. It's to kind of put you in perspective and say, okay, there are things here that are happening that are outside of my control. And hopefully that allows you to gain a little bit perspective and then make your decisions and take actions accordingly, right? That's all it is. It's information. So today's show is all about me sharing information that I know about Mercury retrograde, and of course, pulling cards to check with the universe. What really should we be focusing on? What really should we stay away from? What do we need to know during this time? Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing on today's episode. Okay, and we'll talk about that more later. Right now, we're going to do our usual morning ritual together. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. Okay, and each breath, I want you to imagine that as you are inhaling, you are calling in all of the love, light, and life force energy the earth has to, or the universe has to offer. And I want you to just like bring it in. And when you hold it, I want you to imagine that life force energy activating your cells and slowly dissolving and dissipating any energy or anything that doesn't serve you. And with your exhale, you are going to release those things that don't serve you. And we'll ask lovingly that Mother Nature transmutes that into something usable. Mouth not working. Let's blame that on Mercury retrograde. Woohoo! Okay. Solar flares wiped out KU band satellites in the 2000s. Yes, cosmic stuff will affect things like satellites. Absolutely, Jim. Thank you for showing us some evidence of how that happens. And I completely agree. Like, how can it not? I don't understand how people think that that like the planets that are around us have no effect on us whatsoever. Like, how egoic can you be to think that nothing affects you from the planet? Come on, people. Come on. All right. So not to be insulting by calling you egoic. We are all egoic because that is how we navigate life, is through the lens of our ego. Nothing wrong with it. Just got to keep it in check sometimes. Okay. So let's do our breaths. Oh, let's light the candle first. Still doing our money candle. I'm going to set the intention that this cash flow boost is for everyone watching the show. And in fact, why don't you make a little comment or drop a little emoji and say, yes, please, for this money cash flow boost to activate your cash flow boost. Because I think everybody deserves a little cash flow boost. Well, not everybody, but some people have plenty. All those who need a cash flow boost, say aye. Okay, here we go. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. Do it with me, okay? First deep breath in. Let's make it count. Let's increase our capacity to receive that life force energy that fills us and activates our bodies. Okay, here we go. And hold. And release. Okay, let's do it one more time. We're going to take another deep breath once again, holding that breath, imagining that as we're holding it, that energy just gets dissipated and dissolved, whatever we don't need, and then we release it. Okay, here we go. And hold. And release. Okay, one last time. Let's make this one count. Deep breath in, hold it, activate those cells, and then we're going to release all energy that doesn't serve us. Okay, here we go. Hold and activate. And release. We really want to release it. We want to get rid of those things. So even if you end up coughing like me, that's okay. Release that stuff that doesn't serve you. Okay, now we do a little stretching as usual. Okay. And I always do my back and my neck and my head because that's where I carry the most tension. It's also what's easier for us to do together. So I'm not doing big stretches, although I do like to stretch my back because that needs some support too, and my hips. Wherever you are feeling tension, wherever you are feeling sort of stuckness, right? Or that you're feeling that stickiness or even pain. If you are feeling pain in your body, be very gentle and breathe into the pain, right? So imagine yourself sending healing energy to wherever you're feeling pain, and then release the pain with your breath. Okay. And you do that as long as you need to do it in whatever parts you need to do it to address all of the places where you may have tension or soreness or pain. Okay. And that is just something that you can do to acknowledge those places where you may be holding energy or you may be holding onto limiting beliefs, because where we have the pain in our bodies is a reflection of where our energy is stuck. Okay. Good morning, Anasanka. Beijinhos. Okay, so now that we've done that, we are going to set our intentions for the day. So think about how you would like today to go. Maybe think about your GPS word and what you would like to embody right now. And we'll call in the spiritual support team to help us do just that, to embody our intentions for the day. Okay, I will say my prayer. You can follow along, or you can say your own prayer or sit in silence and just call in your spiritual support team in whatever way resonates with you based on your spiritual beliefs. Okay, here we go. Okay, Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, and all beings of 100% pure white light and ancestors. Um, Allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of love and light connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Thank you, thank you, thank you for helping me set an intention that is in alignment with our highest good for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you for showing us the signs and synchronicities and messages in nature, music, movies, through the cards that I pull, and through the words people say today and always. I appreciate you, I serve you, and I am truly grateful for any wisdom you may have for me or the collective on this day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, and so it is. Okay. Loving this, people. All right. So we have now set our intention. I want you to think about that GPS word. And as you are reflecting on your GPS word, I want you to go ahead and just subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not done that yet, and ding that notification bell so that you know when I'm going live and you can follow me. Usually you will find me here Monday through Friday, weekday mornings, generally speaking. And I also want to remind you that if you would like a personal reading or a couples reading or a strategy session where we can do either coaching or I can pull cards, please go ahead into my description and I have a link there so that you can set yourself up in my calendar. And we will have a session. Also, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about the GPS, you can go ahead and download my transformational guide. That is free, and you just go into the description and do that, and that will talk to you about the GPS word, how to find your GPS word or how to select it, plus a few other energy hacks and tips to navigate the things that you may be challenged with. Okay, now that we've talked business, let's talk Mercury retrograde. Okay, so this cosmic slowdown is not a curse, as maybe sometimes it feels like, right? Like we feel like, oh God, Mercury retrograde, and we're all like, hey, Mercury retrograde, right? But it's really a divine intervention for us to pause, review, and reconnect, right? It's like going back, and Mercury is the planet of communication, right? So anything that's connected with communication is, right now during this time is an opportunity for us to reflect on how we are communicating, on how we are connecting with people, right? And really reviewing your way of um, your patterns of communication, whether it's within relationships, whether it's at work, whether it's with yourself, right? It's really an opportunity for you to rethink, right? Redo, remember, right? Remember how you've done things in the past, what has worked and what has not worked. Remember, what it is that you really want out of your life, how you want to embody your current life, your present life, how you want to step into the future, right? It takes some reflection, right? Some reflection on everything up until this point, right? And everything is through connection, through communication. That's how we function, whether our communication is written, right? All forms of communication are things you need to look at right now, whether it's written, whether it's spoken, right? Be aware of your words. Be aware of what you are saying and how you're saying it. Be aware of the power of your words because they set an intention, right? It's like, I used to hear, well, I've heard this before, right? Your words can be a spell. That's why it's called spelling, right? That was one of those things I heard, and I was like, oh my God, I love it. Because our words set the intention. It brings forth the thought and it connects the thought to the material world. It brings it to the forefront. It makes it so, right? By making a statement, you are at the very least sending a message to your brain, if not also to the universe. Although I believe you're sending a message to the universe when you speak, especially when you speak out loud and when you have words that you have created with your energetic imprint, right? Those words make an impact. So this is a time for you to reflect and review and remember the words that you're saying and understand the power of your communication. All right. So let's just briefly talk about the do's and don'ts of Mercury retrograde. Now, this is just I don't really believe in like the do's and don'ts in this true sense of the word, where it's like don't ever do this or always do that, because it depends on the situation and it depends on you and your capacity. Also, each situation is different. You don't have a choice sometimes, right? So let's talk about it. So something that you can do, which we just talked about, is to reflect, review, and realign, right? I already talked about that. Reflect on the things that you're saying, reflect on your contracts, right? Review the commitments that you have made in your life. Review your commitment to your home, review your commitment to your relationships, review your commitment to your job, right? And really take a look at what you are doing that is being supportive, right? And allowing that commitment to evolve and grow and become stronger, or what it is within that commitment that isn't working, what's falling apart, what do you need to remove, or where do you need to set boundaries to solidify that relationship, that commitment, because that is where you can make conscious choices. Okay. Now, what else can we do? One of the do's is reconnect with people from the past, right? And this again, it talks about going back and reflecting on your relationship, right? Reflecting on that person's importance or significance in your life. Are they still significant? Is that relationship one worth maintaining, right? What has it taught you, right? Does it still have more to teach you? Are you still feeling connected and drawn to that relationship? The people in your past, the relationships from your past that suddenly show up, which very often happens, like you haven't heard from someone. It can be past intimate relationships, it can be past friends, or it can be past colleagues that all of a sudden out of the blue show up during Mercury retrograde. And it may have you asking, why is this person showing up right now? Right. And you may need to ask yourself exactly why, right? Things come up for you to renew and reflect, right? And revisit, right? Do I want to stay connected to this person? Is it important to me that I bring them with me to the next evolution of my life? And you get to decide. And you don't have to like cut people out, so to speak. But there is a natural disillusion, right, of relationships that are no longer in resonance. And sometimes we like cling on to people because we want them to remain relevant in our lives because they've been so significant to us. But you have to ask yourself, does this current version of me or this future version of me that I am trying to build and create a solid foundation on, does that version of me need this person in my life? Is this person important to my personal evolution? Do I just love them and want them in my life? That is a good enough reason, right? Someone is important to you. They don't have to contribute, right? If you love them, then that's their contribution. Their existence brings you joy. Their existence brings you happiness. And you don't have to explain that to anybody. But if there's people in your life, as you're reflecting, people from the past that make you feel bad about yourself or make you question your worth or make you, doubt yourself over and over again. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that person, right? I'm not even saying that that person is doing it out of malicious intent or because they don't care. It can be someone who loves and cares for you very much, but for whatever reason, that they have the power that they have either asserted themselves with or that you've given to them, right, to affect how you feel about yourself. So this is a time for you to reflect on how to navigate that, because you need to release people's power over you during this time. You need to release the power of other people's words and intentions, because you have to be the master of your own fate. You have to be the master of your own choices. You have to be the master of your own actions, right? And if there is something or someone in your life that is consistently causing you to doubt, second guess yourself, or not trust your instinct, then you need to figure out what boundaries you need to put up with that person in order for you to feel safe being in alignment, right? In order for you to feel safe making decisions and taking actions that feel good to you, that resonate with your soul. And if somebody else doesn't like it, or if somebody else can't see it, that's their problem. That's a them issue, not a you issue, right? And that's part of what this retrograde is about: reflecting and reconnecting, or not, with people from the past, but definitely reviewing their importance, their significance, their presence in your life, and whether or not that's something you want to cultivate and nourish, or you continue nourishing that relationship, or if it's something that maybe you don't want to nourish as much. And it's not about cutting off, it's just about putting your attention on the relationships and the things that you do want to nourish. Okay. Um, Hi, Jules. Thank you. Welcome for being here. Okay. So how about, oh, the another do, back up your data. Okay. This, it's tech stuff. Okay. So if there's anything that you're doing in terms of technical things, now this is specifically communication, right? Sending emails, whatever you're doing on the computer, you have to double check. You have to back up your stuff, right? Back up your files. Do not go, I'll do it later. You do it, right away. Okay. Because this is an opportunity for you, with these tech glitches, is to just, excuse me, whew, I don't know what's happening right now, but bring it. Okay, back up your data, double check your communication. Do not send an email unless you've looked at it twice. Do not just leave your computer and hope for the best, okay? Take care of those things, right? This is where you dot your I's and cross your T's, and check and double check and have somebody else check for you. And I promise you that even if you do that, some things will still go wrong, because that's just the way life works. But, and I'm not saying you cannot send emails or communicate with people. Just be aware and just be cautious that there's some glitches out there going on. And so you just need to look out for yourself and make sure you're doing what you need to do. Okay. Things that you should not do. Now, this is like don't do's during Mercury retrograde, okay? But like I said, some of you may not have a choice, right? So, for example, do not make rush decisions, which I agree with. Okay, maybe you don't have a choice. Something happens and you have to decide immediately. In which case, go with your instinct, because that is life. However, if you can take your time in making decisions that have significant impacts on your life, right? Do not buy a house right now if you can avoid it. Do not make, big purchases or big decisions quickly, okay? Do not jump into relationships. Take some time. Allow things to evolve, okay? Do not sign any new contracts unless you have to. And once again, back to the earlier piece of information, right? Which is, if you have to sign a contract because you're starting a job, or you did buy a house already and it just happens to be that the closing is during Mercury retrograde, just check and double check. Make sure that you have crossed your T's, dotted your I's, that everything is exactly as you imagine it to be. Have other people double check if you need to sign contracts. Add people that you trust. The more eyes see it, hopefully the better, and that will avoid any sort of mishap, okay? The other thing you don't make impulsive purchases. I already talked about the house, the car, especially big ones, but not just big ones. Right now is the time where, we're going to be feeling that impulsivity. Also, because when we are avoiding communication or connection with things in our life, sometimes we shop and we do things to distract ourselves, right? So this is a time where you need to not distract yourself and pause and take a deep breath and be mindful of the choices that you are making and take mindful action, right? Feel connected to your action. Take deep breaths before you take any step forward and make sure that you are like in your body, okay? Because your body is going to indicate to you whether something is a good idea or a bad idea because you start to feel it in your body when you practice connecting with it. Okay, the other thing you don't do not launch major new projects, okay, unless you have to, right? Without deep consideration, right? So, if you have a business, I wouldn't launch, your membership program, during Mercury retrograde if you can avoid it, right? Or anything big launching at this time. It's not like it's not going to work. It's not like a death sentence, okay? But you may have to deal with some glitches, right? If you are an online coach or healer or whatever it is that you do and your business is online and you're sending information, emails may not get where they need to go. When people sign up, they may not be able to do it properly. Tech things will potentially happen. Miscommunication will potentially happen. So the reason that we say like don't do new big things is because the regular day to day is probably already going to be affected on some level. So you don't want to like escalate the things that you're navigating if you can avoid it. But if you can't avoid it, it's okay. You can get through it. Just take your time, pause, breathe, and mindfully choose the next step that you need to take or the next action. Okay. All right. So I hope that was help. Jules, what do you say? Oh my God, I've been finding things that were missing so long that I forgot I had them. Thank you. Love this. Infinitely grateful to you. Oh, you are so welcome, Jules. It's so true, right? Things do come up. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Like things may come up that you have lost, long lost, and couldn't find. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, this showed up, right? Because maybe it's time for you to take a look at it again. Maybe it's time for you to step into whatever it is this thing is connected to. Okay. What about when Mercury retrograde was in the birth chart? Does that maximize or reverse the Mercury effects? That's a great question. I am not that good of an astrologer to know the answer, but maybe one of my viewers can fill you in. Actually, maybe I'll tag someone who might know that answer after the show because I have no idea. Oh, Namira, hi. Thank you for being here. You're in the Netherlands? I had no idea. Well, welcome from the Netherlands. Yay. Ooh, we are going all over the place with this show. Loving it. Okay, so let's pull some cards because that's the fun part. And I, want to make sure that we cover the important stuff for Mercury retrograde as we prepare. And like I said, it's not today, it's tomorrow. Ooh, that card just flew out. The High Priestess. So the High Priestess just flew out. So I'm going to say what the High Priestess represents. She represents intuition, right? She represents being connected to your highest self, right? The High Priestess, she has the book of knowledge here. You see how it has the yin and yang symbol, right? And these are the pillars of truth, right? Also contrast. You see how this is dark and this is light, right? And she sits in the contrast, right? She sits in the midst of everything, knowing exactly what to do. And you see how her eye is covered a little bit, right? Because that is like looking within. So she is present in the physical realm, right? So physically here, present, but also connected to spirit, right? That eye being covered is like she's also looking within, and she is that perfect balance of communication between spirit and our natural world, right? Because you get the messages from spirit and then you have to express them here on earth through your vessel. Jules, you're in New York. Yay, me too. Although I'm in Long Island specifically. I don't know if you're in the city, but welcome from New York. All right, so let's talk about Mercury retrograde and what it's trying to teach us, okay? So I think that High Priestess card was a great sort of jump out because what I think the universe is always trying to teach us is to feel into the things that we know. We have our knowledge within, like we have access to all the knowledge, right? Even like these cards, I use these cards and I love using my cards, but this is just a crutch, right? This is this is an excuse, right? Spirit is always communicating with us, but I use these cards as a way to open up the conversation because it is, an agreement that I've made with spirit that I don't always trust the messages that come in regularly, right? Sometimes I do, but sometimes I'm not quite sure. But when the cards show me what they are, then it is how I am able to step into the confidence and the clarity of the message, because it's like the cards say it right there. It's a way for me to see the evidence that what I'm feeling and thinking is true, or that that's exactly what it was that I was thinking. So, that's with anything, with any time that you are communicating with spirit, anytime you're receiving signs or messages, you are already connected. You don't need, we don't need the candles and the crystals and the incense, even though I love them and I use them because I love them, because it's part of the ritual. But you don't need anything to get your messages from spirit. You are the vessel. Spirit is in you. Like you're the same. The vessel is here, but spirit flows through us. So that information flows through us. We have it. Jules in Brooklyn, right by the beach. Oh, nice. Oh man, it's so beautiful for the beach today. I hope you get out there. Definitely. Okay. Here we go. So let's see. What is Mercury retrograde trying to teach us? This Mercury retrograde, because also, different times call for different lessons. All right. Here we go. Let's see. Mercury retrograde. Oh, all right. Well, those cards all flew out. So let's see what they have to say. What is Mercury retrograde trying to teach us? Okay. Look at this, Ace of Discs, right? So the ace, it is like discs are pentacles. It's building a new foundation, a new opportunity. Something is coming, right? And I really love this for Mercury retrograde because, again, we are reflecting, we are going back and reconnecting with old ideas, with old or past ideas, past people, past beliefs, right? And we are reflecting and renewing our commitment to the things that are important to us and the things that are going to serve us in the future. And so the Ace of Discs is like a little reminder that you have opportunities coming up. And so now's the time to think, what do I need to release? Release retrograde. It's all about the return. Okay. What do I need to release in order to move forward? What contracts, what communications are no longer serving me for me to plant the seeds for the future, right? For me to build a new foundation. Oh, Jules, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you found me too. I hope you join me more often. Okay, so that is the Ace of Discs, right? So something new, we are building a new foundation, right? So we need to reflect on the things from the past and look at this, how appropriate the Five of Discs, right? And look at this card. I mean, you don't even have to know what it means to know what it means. Look at all the burdens that they are carrying, right? And the discs, again, are pentacles in regular tarot decks. I'm using the Luna Soul Tarot deck, which I always use because I just love it. It's beautiful. But so this is discs, it's pentacles, it's the material things, it's the stuff on earth, right? It's like our health, our well-being, our stuff, our home, our money, right? And look at that, right? This Mercury retrograde asks you to take a look at the burdens that you are carrying. What can you release? What do you need to review, right? What can you let go of? Because look, and I kind of like this, that we have the Ace of Pentacles or the Ace of Discs, which is just one, and these five, right? So if the goal is to bring in a new opportunity, right, to allow for a new opportunity, then look at all the things you might need to let go of in order for a new opportunity to show up in your life, right? You cannot accept, he's got no hands left to accept a new opportunity, right? So you need to release the things that are out of your control, that you no longer need or want in your life. Review the things that you've got going on for you and really truly reflect for yourself. What am I committed to taking with me? And what do I need to let go of? What do I need to release? Okay. The other card, as far as what Mercury retrograde is trying to teach you, I love this. This is unique to this deck. Okay. And it's the Wu Wei. Right? Wu Wei, right? So let's read it. This is about duality. Wow, makes mighty sense. We'll be here again. Gorgeous deck, right? Isn't it beautiful? I love this deck. um, all aligned into one balanced and best version. Yes. Okay, Wu Wei, let's see here. It's here somewhere. I just need to find it. Is it at the beginning? I don't always look into the book, so I don't know where it is. Oh, here we go. Okay, Wu Wei. Okay. To act in accordance with destiny. Nothing is simpler, nothing is harder. Oh, God. That's so true. Okay, clearly I'm going through something. Well, right now I'm going through hot flashes, but that's another story. Okay. When we exert all our strength and effort, do we achieve the most? When we demand that our views are correct, how many do we convince? Is the victory that is Pyrrhic merely one step towards ultimate loss? Picture the stream. It flows across the land, adapting to the contours in harmony with the rocks and valleys, and slowly, gently, almost invisible display of force, the land erodes and submits to the way of the stream. Learn to allow, do by not doing, adapt, take the shape of the circumstances you inhabit, and then from within, gently do enough, just enough, so that your influence may turn the tide. Thus, do we begin a story with a legacy in its heart. I love this so much because this is about trusting the balance of the universe. It is about trusting the path that when you really take stock of your life and you reflect and renew your commitment to the things that are important to you, building a new foundation of support for your future self, for your future vision and goal, right? When you embrace who you are in the moment and allow things to unfold because you trust that it is going to evolve in a way that is for your highest good, because you've done the work, because you're in alignment, because you are pausing and reflecting before making decisions or taking actions. Okay. That symbiosis, right? That you and your higher self, right? That alignment, that connection with yourself is going to help you and allow you to make better choices for the future, take better actions. And as you remove all of those things don't serve you, as you release the relationships and the beliefs that are no longer supportive of your current and future self, then you are making room for your evolution, right? And making room for the people that are meant to be in your life. You are making room for the opportunities that are going to show up for you because you've cleared the path, right? If you have so many things on top of you or so many things in front of you or so many things in your head, you can't even see clearly. You will not be able to see the opportunities in front of you because you're going to be so clouded with stress and overwhelm. This is an opportunity to slow down and remove what you need to remove out of your life. Okay. All right. So let's see what else is what choices and actions will serve us best. Okay. I don't know. What choices and actions will serve us best? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Let's get one card for this. I want to know. Or should I use a different deck? I don't know. Oh. Okay. I love when that happened. I'm done. Okay. Okay, here we go. The two cards that just came out were the Devil and the Queen of Swords. I mean, it could not be more perfect, right? So the question being what choices and actions will serve us best, okay? The Devil is about focus, right? And I know the devil gets a bad rap, and rightfully so, because he is about distraction, right? So what is going on in your life right now that is distracting you from what is most important? If you are reflecting on what your priorities are, on what's most important to you, then you also need to think about what is in my life that is distracting me from my priorities. What is not serving my highest good, whether it is temptations that are in your life that are distracting, whether it's addictions in your life that are distracting and taking your time and attention away from the things that you really need to do. Like, are you spending all your time thinking about, things and people and situations that are not helpful, that are not supportive, right? That means your energy is going into the negative aspects of your life. Now, of course, because I talk about it all the time, we need to reflect on the things in our life, right, that we're going through. You need to acknowledge the challenges that you're going through in your life. Absolutely, you need to acknowledge it. However, you don't want to sit in that pain. You don't want to sit in those negative aspects of your life, because the more that you sit in it, then that's where your focus is. And, where focus goes, that's where things start to grow, right? Like where your attention goes, that's where energy grows, right? So you don't want to put too much energy into the things in your life that are not serving you. Do not put your attention and time into people who are not reciprocating the love and support that you give them, right? You need to find balance in your relationships. You need to find balance within your work, right? That you are focusing the appropriate amount on the things in your life and making sure that you have time for your priorities. Yes, fun, but also priorities. Okay. So make sure that no one is taking your time and attention, including yourself, away from the things that matter. Right. And of course, the Queen of Swords is the backup of the devil. Right. And why is she the backup? Because this Queen of Swords, she's the one who puts boundaries out there. She's the one that says, you do not get to waste my time by making me feel bad, right? So we need to remove the control that people have over us, right? Remove the control that people have over our emotions, over our actions, over our choices. It's time to step in and own your sovereignty. You are the boss of your life, regardless of whether or not people have opinions or think you should or shouldn't do things. Guess what? If they're not paying your bills, if they are not living your life every single day, then they have absolutely no impact, or should have no impact on your decisions, because you have to live with yourself. You have to live with your decisions. You're the one that has to pay your bills and do the things that you got to do in your life, right? Now, if you do have somebody in your life that is helping you pay the bills or get through life, well, then you work together and then you become a team. And together you decide what things you need to cut out of your lives in order for you to succeed, in order for you to have that beautiful balance between you and your dreams, or you and your priorities, right? Cut out anything that doesn't allow you to focus on the things that are most important to you. Um, let's see here. Jules started doing shadow work, Marie Silva book. Turns out, as I read, it's incredibly fascinating to the work techniques recommended, the ones I've intuitively working through. Oh, yeah. Naysayers had me hurt, wasted time, years now embracing sovereignty. Yes, yes, Jules, we have to. I think everybody, it is like in our collective evolution, that it's time that we become the boss of ourselves, that we stop asking for other people's permission to exist in the way that we want to or in the way that we thrive. You know you best. You know what gets you up in the morning. You know what fills you with purpose and passion, right? Nobody else does. And even if they think you should be doing things a certain way, that is not their business. And you know what? It's not your business to know what they think you should or shouldn't do. Now, you can listen to people, you can take people's advice, you can have mentors. That's wonderful and beautiful. But if deep inside you see the path clearly, or you have hope of how to do things, then focus on yourself, bet on yourself, make a commitment to your vision, and cut out anything else that distracts you from that vision. Okay. All right. Now let's ask another question. What should we avoid doing right now? Okay. Let's see what the because I have some questions that I put just out of curiosity. What should we avoid doing right now? Let's see. You know what? I'm going to pull the pocket fairies. I got this cute little deck. I know I love the other tarot cards too, but I want to pull in some of my other decks. So I got this tiny little pocket deck called Oracle of the Fairies, Pocket Oracle of the Fairies. And it's brand new. And so I'm just curious, because it says, what should we avoid doing right now? I feel like the fairies are going to tell us. Confirming card pull lining up with my repeat dreams. I mean, Jim, you always have the most fantastical dreams. And I'm glad to know that the cards are reflecting what your intuition already knows and is trying to tell you as you're dreaming. Okay, so what do we need to avoid, fairies? Please tell us. That doesn't make any sense. But okay. I mean, all right, what should we avoid doing right now? And so it says nature signs. I'm going to read what it says, but intuitively, what I'm feeling about when I ask, like, what do we need to avoid? And it says nature signs. What I'm feeling into with that is like, don't allow what is happening externally in nature to distract you from your purpose. Okay. Because there are a lot of sort of things happening in nature right now, whether it's weather or, flooding or fires or, whatever is going on. And sometimes that if we focus on that, going back to the devil, if we focus on looking at what's going on with nature and taking that as evidence that we are headed in some sort of disastrous direction, okay? Because there's a lot of people who feel that, and I feel that in some ways too, right? But the idea is that we want to not focus on that as being evidence that it's over, because we have the power to evolve. We are the co-creators with the planet. So let's shift things together and not choose to focus on the evidence around us that shows us that, like, we are headed for disaster, because I don't believe that that's the case. I believe that just like all of our movies, which kind of come from the collective unconscious, understand that there's always a chance to change things, that there's always hope. I think that's what this message is. But let's read. Namira, so much to release, right? And Jules, no, you can go to the beach. I think you should go to the beach, okay? But avoid the ocean if there's sharks, maybe. I don't know. All right, nature's. Let's see what it says about nature's signs. Be receptive to the subtle messages from nature as you go about your day. Nature talks to us continually. We need to only open our hearts and minds. Okay, let's just read this and see what it says. Okay, the fairies love to leave hints and clues for us in nature. It's one of the many creative ways in which they initiate communication with us. For example, fairies often leave feathers or release floating dandelion seeds to let us know they're nearby. The appearance of a friendly bird, such as a robin, is another message from the fairies that they're close by. Fairies and other creatures often work together as they're all in harmony with the earth, whose wisdom can come in many forms. Just allow yourself to be receptive and use your intuition to decipher any signs that you see. You could leave your own sign for the fairies next time you're out in nature, letting them know you wish to connect with them. Leaving a tiny wooden fairy door next to a tree is a sure sign to the fairies that you're a fairy friend. While placing a figurine or a fairy or gnome in your garden or on your porch tells the fairies that you welcome them. When leaving things outside for fairies, make sure they're natural and biodegradable, and don't use any screws or nails, because some fairies don't like metal. Who knew? If possible, sit next to a flowing stream. Oh, see, Jules, you can go to the beach. And visualize your cares and concerns being resolved and floating away. Alternatively, imagine your hopes and wishes flowing towards you, looking out for any significant signs from nature as you do. The fairies may pick up on your intentions and help to manifest them. If you don't have access to a stream, it can be just as effective to visualize this process. Okay, so that's your message from the fairies. I hope that you listen and that you go out there to nature and just connect. And even though I pulled the card and it was like what we should avoid doing right now, I believe that the interpretation that I had, which is like, do not get wrapped up in nature's transformation, right? Nature's own evolution, like the things that are happening with the rains and the floods and the fires and everything that's happening in nature. Do not take that to be evidence of destruction, but instead connect with nature and speak to it and feel into it and reconnect and rebuild that relationship that you had probably when you were young. I mean, all of us, I think, were way more connected to nature when we were young, and maybe spoke to fairies or, spiders or bugs or, like the plants or the trees. And I don't think that we do that as much anymore. And I do think it's important. Okay. So what else? Was kidding with steer clear of sharks. Oh my God, I love fairies too. Yay. We did, it was 11:33 together. Thank you, Jules. Okay, so let's do the last. Okay. I have two more questions here that I wrote down, and we're going to do them, and I'm going to do them with the other oracle cards because it's fun to pull different cards. So let's go with the enchanted app. Okay, what do we need to pause or review during this time? Oh, you know what? We kind of answered that already, like what we need to pause and review. I think I've talked about that enough. So let's do the last question and say how to move forward with intention, because I don't want to take up so much of your time that, like, this has gone on for enough, I think. Even though I'm super having fun. So thank you. Thank you for being here, my crew. Okay, so how to move forward with intention even when life feels like it's on rewind, right? Like, so during this Mercury retrograde, you're probably feeling kind of off and, maybe having a hard time making decisions or moving forward. And that's okay. Like, recognize that, acknowledge it, and just take your time, because do not rush during Mercury retrograde. Don't rush trying to speak, because you won't be able to do it. All right, here we go. So let's see. How do we, what was the question? How do we move forward with intention? Okay, 2 cards jumped out. Okay, I'd say these are 2 perfect cards, right? So this is the Enchanted Map Oracle deck from Colette Baron Reed. I love her. This was the deck I used literally like every day for like 2 years or longer. Okay, and here's the cards that came up. Number 43, details, details, details. So this is the 7 card, right? 43, 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay. And what does it tell us? It means, because our question was how to move forward with intention, right? So how do you move forward with your intention? You set up a plan of action, right? Details is where you are going to have your power. Your power will be in making decisions and in following through with the plans that you make, right? Even if it doesn't feel great, right? You double check. Now, we're not so much doing big things during Mercury retrograde, but what we are doing is paying attention to the details. That goes back to talking about how we are reflecting on our relationships, that we are renewing our commitments, that we are releasing the things that no longer serve us. Okay. And those details are going to be important for you to be able to like lock in, okay, with this Mercury retrograde and still accomplish things. And then the other thing, of course, is the magic stream, 18, right? Which is 18 is high, it's life. Also, 18 is 8 plus 1 is 9, which is this year. It is a 9 year. It is a year of, we are now going into completion. So year 10 next year is the actual completion, but 9 is sort of like wrapping everything up, that now things are coming to fruition. This is the year that things are blossoming, that we are seeing the results of the work that we have put in. What we have put our time and energy and nourishment into is what is unfolding. That is the evidence we see all around us of where we put our time and focus. So if things look a little crazy, well, then we need to each individually ask ourselves, how have I contributed to the crazy? What am I putting my time and attention and focus on that is creating dissonance in my heart, in my family, in my community? That's your responsibility. Okay. And now let me read those cards. Okay. The magic stream is literally connecting to the flow of the universe, right? It is like going into the stream and just allowing yourself to be taken, okay, by the universal flow, which is always moving towards abundance and well-being. All right, so let's look. Oh, Magic Stream's the first card that I opened to. Everything is connected through the universal flow of consciousness. Every experience you have seems to have its own life story with a beginning, middle, and eventually an end. However, there's danger in seeing events as separate from one another, since in fact they're all part of a continuity and a greater evolution. Like an ever-flowing magic stream, your experiences filter through the whole world, one leading into another and forming and influencing still more. Inspiration, invention, and revelations rarely come to just one person. The collective awareness is a shared storehouse of potential. When you remember you're part of the fluid continuity of life, you become a channel for great inspiration. Allow the magic to flow through you and carry your dreams into reality. Your success will benefit many. I love it. Okay, the next card is number 43. Christine Dolores. Oh, your life path is 9. Oh my God, that's cool. So this is a big year for you, 9 year, and your life path is 9. You're going to have a lot of things wrapping up this year. You're probably in the midst of a whole bunch of stuff that you're facing right now. I feel you. I feel you, Jules. I'm here for you if you need me. You need to talk through some of the stuff you're dealing with. I can only imagine. Okay, it's got to be powerful right now. All right, number 43. The most powerful patterns. Oh, details, details, details. Okay, I don't know why I said it 3 times. Well, I guess because I say everything 3 times, but all right, let's go. Details, details. The most powerful patterns are created within the tiniest details. Pay attention. This is the time to be aware of the fine print in all areas of your life. Well, that makes sense with Mercury retrograde. Dot your I's, cross your T's. Look at the details and leave the broad strokes for another time. When this card appears in a reading, it's assigned to finesse a project, make small but meaningful gestures, or add a personal touch to your correspondence. Be aware that what you need to know lies in the details. If you're entering into agreement of any kind, pay attention to them before and not after when it's too late. Clarity and transparency are key. You can gain great understanding by observing the minute body language, offhand remarks, and fleeting facial expressions that reveal the larger picture. Okay. Also, I'm going to say this, pay attention to your body's response. Okay. If you are thinking about a situation or a person, or you're faced with a challenge, when you are coming up with solutions, or when you are about to take action, connect with your body and pay attention to the subtle signs that your body communicates with you. If your stomach starts to feel queasy, if you start to get goosebumps, right? Goosebumps is something that resonates, right? When we start to get goosebumps, it's probably something that resonates and really hits us, right? If your stomach is feeling a little queasy, it's probably something that for whatever reason you are not liking or you are not resonating with. Now, it doesn't mean it's not for you, but it may not be for you right now. And you need to pay attention to those subtle signs. Your body, your spirit is constantly communicating with you, and you cannot ignore it. Okay. All right, that is where I'm going to leave you guys today. This was such a fun show. Thank you so much for everybody watching. Jules and who else was watching? Jim and Namira. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I will be back tomorrow. And for anyone else who's watching, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on that little or ding that little notification bell so you know when I'm going to be on, which is usually weekday mornings. And if you want to book a session with me, go ahead. All the links are in the description. I wish you a beautiful and magical day. Mercury retrograde is tomorrow, so just be prepared. And remember that I love you. You're amazing. And I want you to keep shining that light because you're the boss of that light. So own it and shine it bright.